The Hulk is kind of in a weird spot in the MCU right now, and honestly always has been. Of course, we're going to be seeing him in the upcoming She-Hulk Disney Plus series just a few days from now, so that's super exciting. But the Hulk in the MCU, we've seen him in crossover movies. You know, we've seen him in the Avengers movies. He was in Thor Ragnarok, but we haven't had a Hulk solo movie since 2008's The Incredible Hulk. And that is, of course, due to the crazy complicated deal with Universal Studios, who does own the film rights to this character. But now we have a new rumor and report that suggests possibly that Marvel Studios may be regaining full control over the Hulk just in time to have him lose control and turn into World War Hulk. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we're talking about World War Hulk. And this is something that I know a lot of people want, because since Endgame, obviously, Hulk has been Professor Hulk. We've had Smart Hulk, where it's a combined version of Bruce Banner and Hulk. He's not the Hulk smash type of Hulk, where he's a monster that, loses his temper and goes around smashing stuff. No, it's Bruce Banner, but looks like the Hulk. And a lot of people have had problems with this. I myself, I definitely prefer Hulk smash Hulk, but I haven't been super crazy upset about Professor Hulk. I think it's cool. It makes sense with his arc in the MCU, but I still crave that monster Hulk that we all know and love from the comics. So now we get to the whole World War Hulk storyline. And this is, of course, something from the comics, which we didn't really know if they would ever be able to actually do World War Hulk / Planet Hulk, because you already got kind of a version of that in Thor Ragnarok, where Hulk, he goes to a different planet, he goes to Sakaar, he meets Korg, he meets Meek, he fights in the Contest of Champions, which actually is not called the Contest of Champions, that's something different in the comics, but still, same basic plot here. He ends up falling in love, he, does some things with this girl, they have a kid. Scar is born. The Hulk has a son. And then there's the part where he's back on Earth. And this is actually also involving the Illuminati, who are the ones that actually originally sent him to Sakaar in the first place, considering that he was just a big rage monster when he turned into World War Hulk. And so they sent him to Sakaar. And then we got that whole Planet Hulk storyline. So we kind of thought that, that's not really something they can do, because they already did a version of Sakaar and the Planet Hulk storyline in Thor Ragnarok. But we possibly can still do this story, and maybe even better now. Because first, before we even get into talking about World War Hulk and how this can even work, we need to talk about the whole deal between Marvel and Universal Studios. Of course, in the early 90s, Marvel had to sell off the character rights to a lot of their heroes. That's why Spider-Man is over at Sony. That's why we had X-Men and Fantastic Four over at Fox and all that stuff. And Universal got the film rights to the Hulk. Now, they made the deal that Disney and Marvel Studios can use the character of Bruce Banner, aka the Hulk, in their films. They just can't do a Hulk solo movie. Well, technically they could. It would just have to be distributed through Universal Studios, and Universal would get all the money. So that just wouldn't make sense business-wise. So they haven't done that, and we haven't had a Hulk solo movie in years. But now this is where things get interesting, because someone on Reddit actually did a little bit of digging. I can't remember off the top of my head their username or anything like that, so I'd love to give credit. I just don't remember their name, but shout out to you if you're watching this. Probably not, but whatever. So yeah, they did some digging and found that apparently that deal was meant to last for 15 years. And well, guess what? Next year in June of 2023, is it June or is it July? I don't know, it's sometime like summer 2023, will be the 15-year anniversary of 2008's The Incredible Hulk, meaning it will be 15 years since that original theatrical release, meaning possibly it looks like this could be the end of that deal, meaning that hopefully Marvel Studios could get the full rights to the character of the Incredible Hulk reverted back to their company and their studio. And this would obviously be exciting, because then we could finally get a Hulk movie in the MCU, because we've never really had a Bruce Banner MCU origin story. We have the Incredible Hulk from 2008 that is MCU canon, but it's not with Mark Ruffalo. And again, it's a Universal movie, so there's kind of bits and pieces of it are referenced, and other parts aren't, obviously Edward Norton, but yeah, so it's really this whole complicated deal, and if this is the case, this would be amazing and would really open up the door for World War Hulk. Now, again, where are we going with this whole World War Hulk storyline, and where's the proof? Well, recently, Casey Walsh, of course a known scooper we talk about on the channel frequently, has been hinting at this for months. And now, especially in this last week here, a lot of scoopers have been saying that the end of She-Hulk supposedly sets up the World War Hulk storyline in the MCU, which I think makes perfect sense. We have in this series Bruce Banner, Hulk, Professor Hulk, training Jennifer Walters to be the new Hulk. So this would be the perfect time for something to happen. He goes a little angry and he becomes World War Hulk. Now, what drives him to this madness to become World War Hulk? Well, we did see in the recent clip that was actually released that they actually showed a shot of this Sakaran spaceship, which looks very similar to one of the ships we saw in Thor Ragnarok. And it shoots down the car, and that leads into the origin of She-Hulk, so that's cool. But what's interesting is that is a Sakaran ship. Now in the comics, like I mentioned before, when Hulk was on Sakaar, he ended up having a kid. And this is something we never saw in Thor Ragnarok, so, there's nothing to lead you to believe that that's the case. But then again, there's no proof that he didn't do some stuff. I mean, he was there for a long time. He was in Hulk form for years and years, so who knows what the Hulk did. I mean, you saw that scene with Thor. He was just walking around, everything hanging out there, his towel off and everything. Who knows what lady stumbled upon his castle and, had a baby. You never know. So, kind of a big theory that's been going into the She-Hulk Disney Plus series is that Hulk's son, Scar, will show up. This is a rumor I actually did a video on, I think a year ago at this point now. So it's kind of crazy that now we're actually seeing this kind of stuff come to fruition and possibly could see Scar come to the MCU. Now, Scar and Hulk, they have an interesting relationship in the comics, and I could see possibly his arrival cause some sort of outrage from Hulk to kind of break this whole Professor Hulk form of Bruce Banner in the MCU in current times. Now, again, they could bring back a different character, like, for example, Liv Tyler as Betty Ross, have her get killed off or something, and that would just send him into a rage. There's got to be something here going on that will just make the Hulk snap and revert back to that original monster Hulk smash form from the original days of the MCU, from the Incredible Hulk, and even kind of what we saw in Thor Ragnarok. So this, I think, would be awesome, and especially, again, given some of the things we've seen set up here, I doubt they're going to send him into space again, but the Illuminati was just introduced in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, possibly laying the groundwork for a 616 Doctor Strange to form his own Illuminati with some of the upcoming characters in the MCU, so maybe they'll do something involved here. I saw another theory that maybe the Hulk will be the main villain of the Thunderbolts movie. That makes a lot of sense as well. We know Tim Roth is coming back as Abomination in this series, so you never know. I just think this is a really exciting possibility because I love the Hulk. He's always been one of my favorite Marvel characters, but seeing how he's been treated in the MCU the last couple years has just been disappointing. I mean, again, like I said, it makes sense with his character for his arc to want to be Professor Hulk and, finally find the cure and all that stuff, but I want to see some Hulk smashing. So hopefully we will be getting to see this at some point in the MCU. Hopefully Universal's rights of the Hulk character will revert back to Marvel Studios. Hopefully we can get an actual solo Hulk movie in the MCU, because he deserves it. Mark Ruffalo, he deserves his own Hulk movie, and just imagine the possibilities. I mean, we're getting some great Hulk content in the She-Hulk Disney Plus series, again, bringing back Abomination. Hopefully we get the leader back here, get some Red Hulk action going on. There's just a lot that I want to see from the Hulk in the MCU. I'm a big fan of the 90s Incredible Hulk animated series, so I'd love to see some inspiration taken from that and bring that into the Marvel Cinematic Universe version of the Hulk. That will be a lot of fun. But guys, what do you think about this? What do you think about, first of all, the possibility, again, it's not confirmed, just kind of a looking pretty likely that the rights will revert back to Marvel Studios. What are your thoughts on that, as well as just the idea of a World Breaker, Planet Hulk, World War Hulk movie set within the MCU, hopefully set up at the end of She-Hulk? So anyways, guys, thanks so much for watching. Please drop a like if you enjoyed this video and hit the subscribe button so I can keep up to date on everything that goes on in the Marvel life.